Hi everyone, today we're going to be having a look at the Sizzix Sidekick. If you're not familiar with the Sidekick, it's a very small die cutting machine. I'll bring my standard size Big Shot in so you can kind of see the difference. Now the beauty of the Sidekick is the size. It's very portable, it's certainly lightweight enough that you could take it on the go with you anywhere. Now that's not the only benefit to this machine. Obviously I've got all the Sizzix machines, but I do still use this. You would think, well, if you've got the standard size Big Shot, why would you need a small machine? Because obviously anything that can fit through this, you could run through your standard size machine. For me, the beauty of this is when I am perhaps cutting out a lot of small dies. Some of my floral sets, my favourite floral sets that I like to use, such as this one, I might, if I want to make a sort of wreath or something from those florals, then I'm probably going to want to cut sort of 20 of each flower or something. And of course I can do that in the standard size Big Shot. But if I'm only using a couple of these florals and I want to cut as many as possible, it's much faster to run them through a small machine because you've only got to turn the handle a couple of times for the platforms to go through this. So I'll show you that in a second. Now I'll explain a bit about the colours as well. This is one I've had quite a few years actually. I don't think we do this colour anymore. This was the original Tim Holtz colourway. The current Tim Holtz Sidekick is all black. It's beautiful. It comes in the grey and white. I don't have a grey and white one. This blue one was a limited edition one that came out last year when we had a sky blue standard size Big Shot and a sky blue Sidekick as a limited edition. These are still available in some retailers. It is limited edition, so however many Sizzix made is that's it. So once they're all gone, they're all gone. But I have fairly recently seen it on some of the retailers' websites. So if you particularly wanted a coloured variety, then you could hunt them down. But the standard Sidekick in grey and white looks beautiful as well. It's very it's a very understated, clean looking machine, I think, that would go well in any craft room. Now, because this is so lightweight and easy to carry around with you, it's got this added feature so that you can secure it to your desk so it won't wobble about when you're using it. This is a rubber section on the bottom here. What you do is place it on your glass mat, turn the handle, and that suction will hold it from stopping from wobbling around. Now it'll work straight onto your desk, or I usually use it on a glass mat, and that just stops it wobbling about as you're running your dies through, and then you turn the handle to release it. So whichever, obviously if you're left-handed or right-handed, you might want it a different way around. I'm right-handed, so I would use it like so. Now the plate combinations for the Sidekick are quite simple. They do come in a variety of colours. I can't quite remember which ones came with because I've got the two machines. I think it was this one with this machine. So with the machine, you have two cutting pads. Now with this blue one, it came with, I don't know if you can see, they were sparkly. The plates also come in a lovely mint colour. So depending on which colourway you get for the machine, depends on what colour plates you can get. But obviously you can buy the plates separately. So if you really like the glittery plates, I'm pretty sure they're available separately. The cutting pads are all you need for die cutting. And then this sort of opaque coloured pad, it actually says on it, you won't be able to read it, but it's actually engraved into it. It says embossing pad, and it's the same on the grey version. This is all you need when you're using an embossing folder with one of the cutting pads. There are embossing folders that were designed specifically for the Sidekick. This is a Tim Holtz one. He's brought out a few sets actually that were designed for this. Now obviously in terms of dies, in probably a lot of the die sets you've already got a die small enough to go through here. If you've got any floral sets, then you know you don't need die sets specifically for this machine. but obviously in some die sets the dies will probably be too big to go through here, so depending on the set, you know, for this floral set I've got here, probably, oh, that actually, yeah, no, that just overhangs, so that one would be too big. I'd have to use my regular Big Shot for that, but all the florals would work perfectly, and it's the florals really that I'm more likely to be mass producing. So let me grab a couple of dies and I'll just show you how easy this is to use. Let me get a bit of card. So let me just reach. So I'll just cut a strip of card, and it's very simple. Cutting pad, a card, and then we'll do a couple of florals. Cutting pad on top, and then you run it through. So, and there we go. There's my two florals. So the real beauty for this machine is speed, in my mind. Speed and portability, really. I think it's a useful machine to have in addition to one other machine. I probably wouldn't have this as my only die cutting machine because you are limited with the size, and if you're buying sets of dies, you know, on lots of occasions you're going to find that a couple of the dies in the set are too large to go through here, so you're going to be limiting yourself. But I would say it's a really useful machine to have in addition to, say, a standard size Big Shot for those occasions where you're cutting a lot of small dies in one go, because the speed. Also, it's really handy because when I'm using this, I can leave it on my desk. It's so small, it's not in my way. If I just put it to one side, I can just kind of grab it, bring it to me, die cut a load of flowers, pop it back to the side. It's a very useful machine to have. Let's run through the embossing folder as well, just so you can see that. So let's cut this strip of card to fit. And it's the same with the larger embossing folders. You just slide your piece of card inside the folder, and then you use one cutting pad and then the embossing plate. This is just a bit thinner than the cutting pads because obviously with the width of the folder, you wouldn't want to use two cutting pads, it'd be too thick. And then you run that through. And that's it. Beautifully embossed. I don't know if you can pick that up on the camera. And the size of these little embossing folders are great if you're doing ATCs, things like that, I think. So that's it for the Sidekick. As you can see, it's a very simple machine to use, and I would say a very useful addition to have in your craft room, just for speed, and it's also great for crafting on the go, because if you want to take this out and about with you, it's really easy to carry around. It's not heavy at all. So that's the Sizzix Sidekick. I think what we can take from this video really is that this is a really useful additional machine to have in addition to maybe a standard size Big Shot. The portability is very useful if you want to go out and about and do some crafting. It's also really useful in terms of speed if you want to die cut a lot of small dies in one go. It's going to save you a lot of time. If you think about the time it takes to feed a couple of small floral dies through a standard size Big Shot, as opposed to a couple of turns of this handle, if you were making wedding invites or something like that, this would cut down your prep time, you know, would probably cut it in half. So from that aspect, it's a really useful extra machine to have, I think. And as you know, you can see it's quite a beautiful looking thing. So I hope this video has been useful for you. If you haven't seen the previous videos I've done, check those out. So far we've gone through the standard size Big Shot, and on that video I show you how to use all the cutting plates combinations for doing all the different things you want to do, like wafer thin dies, embossing folders, bigs, dies, etc. So we've done the standard size, we've done the Big Shot Plus, we've done the fold away, now we've done the Sidekick. So over these videos I'm going to kind of cover all the machines so that hopefully if you're on the fence as to which one is right for you, it might help you decide. I hope this has been useful for you. Please subscribe to my channel so that you're kept up to date with all the new videos I do, and hopefully I will see you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.